Welcome again, ACT family. Today we have a powerhouse in the veterinary community. Before I introduce him, I also want to shout out the NABV. Definitely proud of that partnership. And it's one of the uh, organizations that both Jeremiah and I both support. And we really want to make sure that we're highlighting and supporting and doing all we can to give back to the future of veterinary medicine. So shout out NABV, and we thank you for everything that you do. Now get into it. Today's guest is a powerhouse in the making, five-time founder, two-time author, and a current veterinary student at Cornell, who's not just breaking barriers, but building new blueprints. Jeremiah Pouncy, welcome to Athletic Conceptual Training Podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to get into the conversation. As you said as well, shout out NABV. They're so foundational in how veterinary medicine functions right now, but also the future of veterinary medicine and making sure that more people like us are able to at least see themselves in the field of veterinary medicine. So
Yeah.
shout out NABV.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely going to be tagging them in a lot of our posts and then in a lot of our conversations here. Sponsors. You can tap in with us through the NABV as well. Jumping right into some of the questions and getting to know your journey, Jeremiah.
Yes.
You often say you're living life for the story. Your handle is through Jeremiah's eyes. When did you realize that your journey was bigger than just veterinary school?
I would say, I feel like as I was growing up, my parents always used to tell me that as long as I put in the time, effort, and energy into something, no matter what I imagine, I can accomplish said thing. So even when I fell in love with animals as I was growing up, there was always different things that I was interested in, whether it was sports. I played football, basketball, soccer, track, pretty much every sport growing up. So being able to pursue those while making sure that my academics were in line with everything. I got introduced to real estate and business and entrepreneurship. That always fascinated me. And despite me having my vision set on veterinary school and becoming a veterinarian, I always found these different things that I was interested in. And I did not want to give those up for my dream of becoming a veterinarian. So regardless of the label of veterinarian, I wanted to be able to still pursue the other dreams that I had alongside being a vet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. And you kind of started answering the next question already. And the next question was what led you to blend business and leadership. Uh, but what I want to ask is tell us a little bit about one of your business pursuits. One of the most um, popular that I know of was the water bottle company.
Yes. So I'm gonna try and keep this story like quick and brief, but brief background on Tsunami. Back at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, also known as A&T Aggie Pride. It's the largest public HBCU, so historically black college or university, and that's where I went to undergrad. But there, I majored in animal science and double minored in chemistry and entrepreneurship. So while I was taking my animal science classes, had to knock out my chemistry minor, had to knock out the classes for my entrepreneurship minor. But in the spring semester of my senior year of undergrad, I had a class that was for my final class for my animal science major, and it conflicted with the last class that I needed for my entrepreneurship minor. And I did not go through all of undergrad trying to get that minor to not be able to get at the end of the day because I had to do the animal science major class. So went through, completed or selected the animal science major class, but then had to go and talk to one of my entrepreneurship mentors and professors, Mr. Antoine Foreman, and set up an independent study with him. And essentially the project that he gave me was you need to create a business that is selling a product by the end of the semester. And if you generate a profit, then you pass the class, you get your entrepreneurship minor. If you don't pass, or if you don't generate a profit by the end of the semester, you fail, you don't get your minor. So I had to lock in and figure out what I was going to do. So I went through the whole business model process, business plan process, stumbled upon bottled water because the profit margins on bottled water are large enough so that you can function well as a business, but then also have excess money to be able to make impact within the world. So I reached out to a whole bunch of different suppliers, had to have a whole bunch of conversations, but then eventually got the first pallet of Tsunami, which was 72 cases of water, 1,728 bottles, and got those delivered to A&T. Had one of my friends pick up trucks, bring it to my apartment, and then had 72 cases of water just sitting in my apartment, which of course took up a lot of space. But from there, reached out to a whole bunch of people, went door to door to different professors, reached out to literally everybody in my network trying to get through these bottles. So went through that entire process, generated a profit from selling all those cases of water, whether it was full cases or individual bottles to people on campus. And then with the profits from that, I was able to do a homeless sleeping bag drive with a community resource center. And that was through one of my friends' businesses, Illustrious SU by William Teasley, one of my best friends. It's like a brother now to me. But through his business, we're able to do a homeless sleeping bag drive and then also be able to donate some gift cards to some families at one of the schools that his dad worked at. And just recently, we were able to do a sales project at North Carolina A&T. So the students were able to take Tsunami, be able to have conversations with me, reach out to me via LinkedIn, social media, as well as have physical Zoom meetings as well, and then take what they were learning from their sales and marketing class and apply that to Tsunami, and then go out to different businesses and learn through an experiential way, which I feel like was also very beneficial. But Tsunami is all about the impact at the end of the day. Try to not yap a lot, but
No, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. It's amazing that just shows the resilience. You said decided to take no, not take no for an answer.
Yeah, definitely can't. Definitely cannot. I feel there's too much opportunity to just take no for an answer or see that first no and just duck off. You gotta have that. I don't know, that umph, I guess.
Yep. Do you think the current veterinary school model is outdated? And if so, what would you burn down and rebuild?
I wanted to ask a question
Sure.
in regards to this. When you
Okay.
say the current veterinary school model, do you mean like the teaching model? Do you feel like the application process, or what? What
Yeah.
specifically?
So not necessarily the application, but the curriculum.
I would say one of the biggest benefits and one of the biggest draws for me choosing Cornell was the fact that the curriculum was case based. So just as a kind of like a I don't know, kind of like intro to it, we're in a block system. So instead of having a whole bunch of courses, we have blocks, and then with those blocks, we have cases. So we come in first day of class and we have block one, which is a normal animal body, essentially this anatomy, and it's 12 weeks, 12 credits, the entire animal body of dogs, cats, cows, and horses. Come in first day of class, say we're in a tutor group, and we get presented with the first page of a case, and it says Cha Cha is a 5-year-old Chihuahua that came in for collapsing and seizing. We say, I go up to the whiteboard, write the facts of the case, questions for the owner, questions we have for ourselves, hypotheses and plan, and then take that, and pretty much that takes about like 45 minutes, and then we go to the next page, do the same thing again. And what we don't know, then we have those as our learning objectives, and we go and learn those things. We go and study those things. And in that model, there aren't that many lectures. We have lectures from specialists here and there throughout the week, but we have a lot of labs. We have a lot of those tutor groups, which are very case-based learning. And we have a lot of things that make us use critical thinking. And I think that was one of the most innovative things I've seen within different veterinary schools, which not a lot of vet schools do it. But the fact that they are moving back from just lecturing at us from 8 to 5 and expecting us to just memorize information and not be able to actually take it out of our brains and apply that information to different situations, but actually having to, from day one, critically think about cases. I feel like it makes us become better vets and be better prepared for clinics so that we can get the most out of clinics. And then from there, from clinics, be actually prepared to be the best vets that we can on day one. And then the second thing that I would say beyond just the curriculum changes is the amount of support that veterinary schools give veterinary students. I feel like there's been a big uptick in talking about wellness, mental health, physical health, all these different types of things. But from a student's perspective, there there's a difference between what schools talk about and how students feel supported. So I feel
Yeah.
like a big change that needs to get integrated within all vet schools around the globe is more of a actual purposeful input when it comes to promoting students' physical, mental, and all aspects of health, especially financial as well, because that contributes a lot to that. But yeah, there's a lot of problems, but I do see some positives.
Yeah. Yeah. VetMed talks about wellness, but most students are drowning in debt and burnout. What's the biggest lie being told in veterinary education today?
I would say the biggest lie, especially when it comes to you said the wellness and the finance, essentially.
No, here, I'll repeat it one more time. Said VetMed talks about wellness,
Mhm.
but most students are drowning in debt and burnout.
Yes,
What's the biggest lie being told in veterinary education today?
I would say the biggest lie. I would say that the the debt problem is very real within veterinary medicine, um, and I feel like as a student, we're not always educated on how to get out of that debt, but there are a lot of different ways to actually get out of that debt and not have that just hanging over our heads for the rest of our lives, which is kind of how it's portrayed and talked about within at least within rooms that I've been in. But
Mhm.
I do feel like practice ownership and teaching people about practice ownership, about the business side of veterinary medicine, I feel like that's a way to be able to have a actionable plan in how to get out of debt and it not just be a if you're a vet you're not going to make any money, you're going to be in tons of debt and that's just the end of the story, you have to do it all out of the good of your heart. But that's just not how it should be.
Yeah.
We are doing good work, we should be compensated for that, and there are ways that we can provide the best care for our clients, for our pets, as well as live a happy life, and that is possible. You do have to be intentional about it, but it is possible. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I feel like that's
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. Good job. Good job. You've been part of DEIB initiatives. How do we stop using diversity as a buzzword and actually pay Black and Brown professionals what they're worth?
I would 100% say kind of like how I was talking about the veterinary model need to be changing about the mental and physical health and
Mhm.
actually having action behind those statements. I feel like one of the big things within the DEIB conversation is being able to have action behind what people say. Um, Across the globe, there's a lot of changes in the political climate. Some things can be said, some things can't be said. Some
Right.
companies had initiatives and they've pulled back from those initiatives. Some companies have initiatives and doubled down on those initiatives. But with that being said, I feel like the biggest thing that at least shows us black and brown people that there are people that do care and that DEIB is more than just a good marketing word or buzzword that'll go well in SEO, it'll go well when you're using social
Mhm.
media, is to actually have action behind the statements that are said, whether it's financial, whether it's showing up at different places, whether it's remaining steadfast in your goals, or even just aligning and creating KPIs for your business that are tied to different DEIB standards. And that's not just simply based off of race, that's not simply based off of gender or sex. That's a wide variety of equity that should just be incorporated within businesses as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely get on a soapbox for that. But I would say definitely having the financial commitments, the initiative commitments, and doubling down on things when times are tough, um, and trying to get creative with the ways that you can do that. Because just because you don't say that you support DEIB explicitly, people can see if you are trying to have an equitable business and do equitable work at the end of the day. Um,
Well, it's also beneficial financially for you to have that diversity.
exactly.
There's so many studies that have shown, businesses that are diverse. And you know what? I won't be general with it. We'll talk about the vet world specifically because I think that is a huge problem. I still feel like I walk into hospitals today and I could be the only one,
Exactly.
meaning that there's still a lot of work to be done. If not at the hospital level, but higher, the schools, the recruiting, the exposure,
Exactly.
the representation. I mean, where are the people who look like us to bring us?
Yeah.
Where are you recruiting? Is it
Exactly.
just in this specific affluent area, or are we
Yeah.
looking deeper? Um, you know, and
Yeah, I feel like that's really a big thing, that recruiting aspect that you're hitting on.
mhm,
That especially when it comes to veterinary medicine, there's a big pipeline for if you have a parent in veterinary medicine, then I don't know if it's like you're but you're more likely to get into vet med.
yeah,
And right now, how vet med stands is, at least for Black and African American individuals, we make up 1.4% of veterinarians in the United States. So we don't have a lot of people within the veterinary industry, and that is not going to help for increasing diversity for our numbers within veterinary medicine. If I feel like I'm an anomaly trying to get into veterinary medicine. I didn't meet my first Black vet, until I got to North Carolina A&T, which is an HBCU. But for millions of kids out there, they're not able to see people that look like them in the spaces. So being
right,
able to, as you said, target that recruiting to populations of people that come from a diverse background, I feel like will just make kind of like be able to build those pipelines and make
right.
it more of a, I guess, diverse and welcoming field. Because as you said, the clients do come from a diverse background, so we need people that look like them to help them feel more comfortable in a room, just inherently.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've definitely I've been hospital manager and management consultant, and when I've been in different situations, different places, and different situations where um, when I've been able to make a connection and relate, I could turn an angry situation into a very positive situation
Exactly.
just off of that alone.
Exactly.
And
There's a lot of cultural things. There's just a lot of unsaid things and different cultural differences that can be
mhm,
understood by one person or another person, or if somebody can speak Spanish in somebody's native tongue,
right.
that helps build trust 10 million times better than not having somebody that speaks the same language as you. And
Yeah.
that goes good for the client, that goes good for the patient. So everybody's winning at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Sponsors, I approve this message.
Yes, that's why NABB does what they do.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
there's so much power in representation and building that relationship gap between a student or pretty much any person and where they want to get to. And if they see somebody that looks like them, that acts like them, that thinks like them, it just makes it so much more likely for them to actually pursue that route, or to even seem fathomable at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. You've built businesses while being a student. How do you balance purpose and profit without selling out?
I was see that's a great question. Um, I feel like the biggest thing when it comes to being a student entrepreneur is the fact that nothing is going to come easy, nothing is going to come fast. But with that being said, there are ways to leverage being a student to help advance your business. For example, with Tsunami, a lot of professors are more likely to support me being a student at the university simply because I'm a student at the university that they teach at. So being able to leverage that position, also being able to leverage the youth as kind of like a I don't know. That is just it's just cool that there's a student that is this young doing
Yeah.
said thing. It's good for marketing. Sounds cool. So I feel like you're able to leverage that as well. So I feel like I've been trying to leverage that. But with that being said, being able to understand that as a student, my number one priority is academics. If
Yeah.
my academics and my grades are not good, I cannot do the business stuff that I do. I can't do any of the extracurricular activity that I do unless my academics are sound and are where my goals are set at. They may not be straight A's, they may not be straight B's, but being able to understand and accept the fact that I have this goal for my academics and I'm willing to sacrifice not getting an A on every test because I want this, I want to be able to put more time into my business, but then also understanding that the time that I do put into my business most likely will not compete to somebody that is having their business as their full-time job. But
Yeah.
being able to accept that and be willing to put in the little bit of work day by day, staying consistent,
Mm.
and over time, something may happen, something good may happen, something bad may happen, but just understanding that you're living life for the story.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, if something bad happens, it's a good plot at the end of the day. That's how I think about
I like that, man. And we were touching on that before we started airing, just staying consistent, and then when preparation meets opportunity.
it. Exactly. And you can't plan that. You have to stay consistent and then somehow, some way,
Yeah.
more time.
Yeah. Tsunami Waters, Pro Me, through Jeremiah's eyes. What's the thread tying all your projects together?
I would say in terms of my projects, like business wise, just kind of like the Pouncy Empire,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the fact that one, since I was a kid, the concept of extinction blew my mind. So whether it seems unreasonable, irrational, most likely is, and I understand that. I want to make sure that no animal, no species, honestly, goes extinct ever again. So that is one thing, and then the second thing is that I want to make sure that myself, my family, everybody that I come in contact with is able to live out their dreams to their full capability. That goes for me, that goes for my family, that goes for you, that goes for anybody that's listening here today. Being able to inspire people that I had a dream. I have a lot of things that I want to be able to create that I imagine and I'm going to do that. I fully believe that I'm going to do that, and I feel like that would make the world a better place. And I want to bring everybody that I can with me to do that, and also empower everybody else to do the same thing, if that makes sense. So, with the kind of like lofty goals that I have, I understand that there is a reality side to it where there has to be some sort of money that can be tied to those different things to be able to actually make those possible. When it comes to wanting to save as many animals that I want to, I do want to be a veterinarian, but I also want to get into practice ownership and be able to build a veterinary empire and be able to have some of the excess profits from that business be able to be dedicated to different conservation and sustainability efforts around the globe. I want to be able to have impact in terms of food insecurity, in terms of community and economic development. So I created a business that has high enough profit margins as in tsunami, to be able to, one, have the function of the business, but then be able to dedicate a portion of the profits to different projects that are going towards like nonprofits, NGOs, individuals that are doing work within that space. So I feel like we need to make the world a better place and make sure that not a single other species goes extinct are my two kind of like guiding lights at the end of the day. And it just empowers me to put in the work to make sure that anything that I imagine, I actually go through and do it, if that makes sense.
Those are great goals, Jeremiah.
I appreciate it. I feel like I'm yapping a lot.
I mean, that's what we're here for. They want to hear you. If a brand wants to support real impact in this space, what kind of partnerships actually move the needle for you and your community?
I feel like the biggest source of partnerships are ones that aren't one off. It's not just a yes, I'll do this if you do that for me. Yes, I will. I'll pay you this much if you post my product and advertise it, whatever.
Right.
It's more of a partnership where a relationship can get built over time so that we're able to build a repertoire with each other. We're not thinking of everything in a transactional sense. We're actually trying to build together. So I feel like when two people or two entities come together to actually build something, there's so much more impact that can be made. There's so many more thoughts that can be culminated into this big project. And then from there, just being able to kind of like leverage those over and over and over again. So I feel like sponsors and partners that are intentional and open and have an open mind about the possibilities that both of us could come together and do. And I feel like that just goes for my advice in terms of any sponsorship, any partnership, something that can go.
I agree 100%. We want to partner with move makers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to make some change. With that, you got to be open to the future, I feel, and then also willing and open to know that things will take time. They will take investment in terms of time, but also money and effort. But at the end of the day, if you're good with it, then everybody wins at the end of the day.
Yeah. You've compared NFL teams to vet med teams. What can this profession learn from elite athletes and coaches?
I would say within my time with the NFL, which is more so on like the business side of everything, I would definitely feel like I definitely glean two things. One, when it comes to sports, especially the NFL, each player on the field, there's 11 people on the field at one time, but everybody has their specific role.
Mm-hmm.
The coach has a large team that has developed the entire game plan for the specific team, the specific matchup they have, and then they delegate that to the specific positional coaches. And then each person in each specific position has their one job on every single play. Each play will be different, each situation will be different, but as long as that person executes their role well or to the best of their ability, then it should go well. There isn't like 100% like success rate in terms of the planning. You can anticipate what somebody will do, but that may not happen. There are things that happen and you have to react on the fly. You have to put in the time before the actual play happens to be able to be prepared when you're in that moment.
Yeah.
But being able to understand that it's not just you on that field at any given time. There's a lot of people that are supporting you. There's a lot of people that are putting their faith in you. And you also have people that you can lean back on is one of the really big things that I feel like I've learned through my time with the NFL. And then also the fact that, yes, the NFL has their product of having those games on every Monday, Thursday, and mainly Sunday. But they do so much more work outside of that, whether it's partnering with the Red Cross, whether it's donating money to this charity, being able to support different disaster relief projects. they have their main company, they have their main product, but they're doing all these different things and having impacts in different spaces that may not even be remotely tied to football in the same way. And I think in the same way, veterinary medicine should look at our industry in the same sort of way. If you have a veterinary hospital, or if you are working for a veterinary hospital, if you're working anywhere in the veterinary industry, even if it's corporate, our product is veterinary medicine, but there's so much more that we can do outside of the world of veterinary medicine, whether it is directly related to it, whether it is absolutely not related to it at all. But there is good work that can be done, and there are things that can be done as somebody in the veterinary industry with our products being vet med. I don't know how to end that off, but I hope that
No,
makes sense.
it makes sense, and thank you for saying that. That resonates with me because what I do is collaborate vet med
Exactly.
and athletics, and for a long time I was getting, oh, what are they? What do they got to do with each other? You should separate them. I said no.
Yeah,
I
no.
said no.
It makes perfect sense, at least in my mind. I feel like the way that I grew up and what I was exposed to athletics growing up, I feel like that it just clicks for me in terms of why I think the way that I do, why I perform my task as even a vet student right now that I do, and why I have
Yeah.
the mindset that I do, um, is because I'm an athlete at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, I'd take it to a deeper level and say I have two standalone powerhouse fields. If I could blend the two, why wouldn't I?
Why not? Exactly. And I'm glad that you did it despite what everybody else was saying.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. If you dream it, put in the time, effort, and energy, see, make this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's say you get a call tomorrow from a major company with a six-figure deal. What would you make? What would make you say no?
What would make me say no? If it felt transactional, if it felt, we'll give you this six-figure deal, and we need this, this, and this, and that's the end of discussion. There's no support. There's just execute type of
I
deal.
see.
I feel like a deal or a partnership, or I feel like everything should be a partnership.
Mhm.
If I got the exact same deal from two people, but one was willing to build with me, even if it wasn't just getting those six figures up front, and I'll just get it like at increments of time, and be able to work with what works best for them, what works best for me, and be able to build something greater over a longer period of time. I feel like that would satisfy me more and give us more potential to actually make something meaningful happen.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that'd probably be the biggest thing. There has to be a partnership. There has to be a relationship built. It's the biggest thing, at least in my opinion, when it
Yeah.
comes to just life in general.
Agreed. Agreed. Last couple questions. Fast forward 10 years. What does success look like for you? White coat, CEO, or something we haven't seen yet?
Oh, I would say, um, I was. I feel like I always break it off into two things. One would definitely be family. Definitely want to get married, start building a family. Probably to like the later half of those 10 years. Um,
Hmm.
and then also be able to travel, explore. I love traveling, love exploring for nature, that being animals and plants, and being able to build a whole bunch of different experiences for me and the people that I love, being able to have a whole bunch of different stories to be able to share.
Hmm.
And on the other side, I want to be able to create a bunch of different startups and empower other mentees that I have and other people to build those as well, like their own dreams, and be able to support them on that pathway. But I see Tsunami being in a lot of different veterinary offices, hospitals, human hospitals as well, dental offices. I envision seeing a lot of different projects that we have going on. Like some of the stuff that I have right now have been projects, like a couple of projects with a business, but being able to have more businesses, more sustained projects that build up over time. That
Yeah.
being Tsunami, I do some veterinary consulting right now, and also consulting outside the veterinary business in terms of innovation and sustainable growth. So being able to scale that consulting agency and being able to bring on students so that students are able to have some kind of like exposure to the world of business and being able to put a little bit of money in their pockets as well. Because I feel like that's a big thing as students. And then also being able to scale that and take my business knowledge from that and being a vet into creating different veterinary real estate developments. So being able to have the veterinary hospital, being able to have grooming and boarding facilities, being able to have different retail locations as well, and kind of building different real estate developments across the globe. I expect a lot of those to be finalized and in process of scaling by then as well. Um, yeah, I expect to have at least been touched every single continent. I feel there's a lot of things, a lot of dreams that I have with everything that I've always thought before and had all these goals and everything. Always having a vision of what it may look like, and then it somehow, some way, everything just gets like wiped off, and then it's all something different. I'm always thankful for it, and it's something greater than I could have even imagined. So God, that's what I'm saying. Now it'll definitely be interesting to look back on this in 10 years and see how wild my imagination ran.
Yeah. Last question. And last word for the students, athletes, or dreamers who feel overlooked right now.
I would say stay consistent. And I saw Kai Cenat on Hot Ones just like a couple days ago, but he said slow motion is better than no motion. As long as you're staying consistent, as long as you're putting in that time, effort, and energy, somehow, some way, serendipitously, something will happen. Something will work out. And you need to be open to whatever that is. Of course, putting in the preparation for what you do want, and being able to put in the work to try and garner different opportunities that you may have and be able to put yourself in a position to even be offered to kind of like execute whatever your dreams are, but also being able to be consistent and be prepared when that opportunity shows itself, in whatever form that may be. So yeah, being consistent, being flexible, and being grateful for the position that you are in right now. That's what we're going to look back on. We're going to back on these moments, and we're going to be like, this was crazy, that this is how I was thinking. This is the position that I was in at this given moment. But over time, everything just kind of works out, except that this journey is going to make that end product all the more worth it. And there's never really like an end product. But yeah,
there you go.
I'm yapping.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Jeremiah Pouncy. Thank you for your time, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you do. It's honestly very inspiring to see another Black man in this space doing what you do, staying as consistent as you do, seeing the upping and the quality of your work as well. And also shout out NABV for helping empower him and other Black people within the veterinary space like myself as well. So yeah.
Shout out NABV.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, this is Ryan from Athletic Conceptual Training with another high-powered interview. Definitely check this out, sponsors, viewers. Take the tidbits, take the knowledge that you get from this, and you know, we're going to be posting clips and things like that. But everybody, please take the time to watch these on YouTube, because you're missing out on a lot of quality information from people who are with the boots on, tied on, and really trying to chase their dreams, and not just trying, doing. Oh, actually, last thing, I saw recently on your Instagram, you got to be courtside.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was a time. That was a good
I
time.
mean, I think we should have like a business meeting courtside. Something. Who we talk to, man? How do I get there as well?
But it was honestly insane. It's another thing that just kind of like happened serendipitously.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to get courtside somehow, some way. I didn't know it'd be this soon.
yeah.
But
Was
just
it dope? Was it dope? Man?
yeah, it was honestly. I've been to an NBA game before.
Yeah,
But I was at the New York Liberty game when I was sitting courtside, and they just won the WNBA championship this past year.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a New York Liberty fan. I feel like I can't choose any other team.
Right.
But just the environment, the vibe, the emotions of everybody was like 10 out of 10. And then being inside and seeing them up close is like they are hoopers. They
Yeah.
are hoopers. It was absolutely phenomenal. The refs were cool. I know like we'd be hating on the refs, but it was cool to see them kind of like at an eye level. Some of them like
Yeah.
came and talked to me. They talked to a couple of other people that were like courtside as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like throwing jokes back and forth as well. So it was cool seeing everybody, including the refs, in a different sort of light.
Yeah.
It was amazing. 10 out of 10 would recommend if you got the money. Yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Well, hey, New York Liberties, Golden State Valkyries,
Exactly.
Sacramento Monarchs.
All of them. Literally, the WNBA is up. The WNBA is up.
Go on and bring your boys on back for a nice little courtside, up and personal meeting.
Exactly.
It's always been my dream.
Exactly. I loved it. I love it. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was one of those things that I couldn't even plan.
Yeah.
It was somebody that I had met. He ended up giving me the opportunity, and took a drive from Virginia to New York.
Okay, there you go.
It was worth it.
Did you get like great parking too? Did you get to like drive into?
The parking in New York is crazy.
Okay.
No matter if you work there, you don't work there, absolutely bananas. But yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we'll end it there. Look, thank you again. We'll talk soon, and we'll get this out for everybody.
Cool.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
For sure.